right, welcome back now to the latest on the California wildfires. The lighter winds are giving firefighters a chance to make significant progress in their battle against the Eaton and Palisades fires. Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass is bringing in a developer to lead the rebuilding efforts. And while the city is planning its future, the investigation into how the fires started will take a long time, according to the ATF director. Joining us right now is retired U.S. Army Lieutenant General Russel Honoré. He led the recovery efforts in New Orleans after Hurricane Katrina back in 2005. He's also the author of the book Leadership in the New Normal. General, great to see you.
Hello, Fred. Have a good day to you. And compliments to those firefighters out in California, and those magnificent aviators that's dropping that retardant. They're doing a magnificent job.
They really are. They're putting everything they've got into it. And I wonder, even with that, how much danger is there for some of the recovery workers who are, going in there, in the face of the battle of these fires?
Well, that transition from doing the response and doing the recovery simultaneously, there are many parallels to Katrina. As you know, after we evacuated the people, then we had to dewater the city. At the same time, people wanted to come back to reentry and go see their homes. So there are many parallels, even though this is a fire event, a ice, water, and wind event in Katrina. And one of the big lessons we learned, Fred, was at the time President Bush assigned a federal coordinator that worked above FEMA, worked directly with him in the White House in coordinating the response and working with the House on the supplemental bill it took to pay for Katrina. So that was a lesson learned. The other one is President Bush eased immigration standard because we did not have the workers in the United States to do the rebuild in New Orleans. So as you know, both of those are two hot button issues as we look at how the recovery will start, Fred.
So these are lessons learned as well. Do you see that employing a federal coordinator in this situation is paramount, to any success in recovery, rebuilding, restructuring, and the overall response?
I would think that would streamline things. Right now, if the state wants something, they go to FEMA, and FEMA go through the process of doing the estimates, or they go to HUD, or they go to the Corps of Engineers. The way President Bush had it structured, that individual worked at the cabinet level as an appointee, a czar for President Bush, and it cut through a lot of the red tape. And we already know the House Speaker has said he want to put strings on the money that's going to California recovery. This will help clean some of that out because it's somebody the president-elect can appoint that be his point person to bring together all of government response. Because this is going to be, look like maybe 3 times the size of Katrina in terms of budget. And it's going to be a hell of a supplemental that's going to have to be created because that is not in the budget right now, Fred.
Yeah, and on that second point, you said was really, a source of learning for Katrina by President Bush, relaxing on some immigration laws. Well, the incoming president says, on day one, among his executive orders will be on matters of immigration. So do you see, and I know without, really talking about the politics of this, but you said it really is a valuable resource, the use of assistance coming from across, state lines and across the border. So do you see that this might be impetus for a pause on what could be executive order action involving immigration?
Well, that's the difference between rhetoric and reality. And that's what we're going to see unfold in the next 48 hours or so. And it would be very prudent of them to see, and it's going to take weeks before that recovery to start once they do some of the cleanup of the debris. But that's where you're going to need a lot of this labor. And the governor of California and the mayor will assess what the workforce is. But I know we didn't have it in New Orleans because the population was gone. And we didn't have the workforce to do it. We had a tourist-oriented workforce. So without those workers, it was so profound in New Orleans that the city of New Orleans and the metropolitan area built a statue to those Hispanic workers who came across the border to clean up the city.
And already we've seen firefighting help that's come from Canada and Mexico, but I think everyone hears you loud and clear that that same sort of cooperation is necessary, you know, to get to the next stages. All right, so I wonder if I can ask you too about the kinds of dangers that, whether it be National Guardsmen who are assisting, we've already seen video of them assisting in helping in neighborhoods where people are, you know, coming and going, or perhaps even escorting of utility vehicles. And I wonder, you know, what your concerns are about their personal safety, especially when you're talking about debris fields that involve electric cars, you know, burned out houses full of plastics, toxins, all of that. What are the potential dangers for everyone involved?
Well, I think they've been well briefed. We learned that lesson in Katrina from toxins in the water, which we had to use protection. And we learned that lesson from 9/11, ingesting those building residue and car residue and battery residue. And I assure that those sergeants on the ground and those captains, line commanders, are doing safety risk assessment and making sure they have a proper mask to present the VOC, the volatile organic compounds that could get in their lungs, just like it happened on 9/11. So there are many lessons learned there. And from what I see on television, most people you see are wearing some kind of protective gear on their face, but that need to be the standard for sure, Fred.
All right, General Russel Honoré, always a pleasure talking to you and hearing your invaluable lessons that could be applied in this latest tragedy. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Fred.